everyone, welcome to part 2 of the tutorial for the crochet cropped jacket. Here we'll work on the front right body panel, the sleeves and the assembly of the jacket. Please refer to part 1 of the tutorial for the crochet cropped jacket where we worked on the back body panel and the front left body panel. Moving on to the front right panel, using the 4mm crochet hook, we'll begin with the ribbing. Work the ribbing for the front panel just as was done for the back panel, only this time repeat round 2 33 more times. I then slip stitched across to the right side of the ribbing, and that brought the tail end of the yarn to the bottom. Round 1, chain 1, single crochet across, making sure that you have 35 stitches. I've completed round 1, making sure that I have 35 stitches across. Round 2, it's chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and turn. Here I'll double crochet across, again making sure that I have 35 stitches. After completing round 2, change the hook to a 5mm. Moving on to round 3, it's chain 3 and turn. Work 2 double crochets, followed by a front post triple crochet. Skip the next stitch and work 2 front post triple crochets into the next 2 stitches. Go back to the skip stitch and work a front post triple crochet. Move forward working a front post triple crochet. Then it's 3 double crochets, continue with the pattern working the cable, 3 double crochets, the cable, 3 double crochets, ending with 3 double crochets. I've completed round 3, moving on to round 4, it's chain 1 and turn. Here working on the wrong side, I'll single crochet all across. I've completed rounds 5 to round 10 by repeating round 3 and round 4. Moving on to round 11, just one thing before we move on. For the front left panel, we worked our decreases at the start of the round. But this time, for the front right panel, we'll work our decreases at the end of the round. Round 11, chain 3 and turn. Continue with the pattern until you have 4 stitches remaining. I'm at the end of round 11 with 4 stitches remaining. Was unable to complete the last front post triple crochet as I needed that stitch for the decreases. I'll work 2 decreases into those 4 stitches. Round 12, chain 1 and turn, single crochet all across. Round 13, it's chain 3 and turn. Here I'll work the pattern to the last 6 stitches where I'll work 3 decreases. I've completed round 13 following the pattern. I've stopped at the last 3 double crochets, so leaving 6 stitches for the 3 decreases. So to work a decrease, the first decrease, second, and the third. Then it's chain 1, turn, continuing with round 14 where I'll single crochet all across. Moving on to round 15, it's chain 3 and turn. Here I'll work the pattern, leaving 4 stitches at the end in which to work 2 decreases. I'm at the end of round 15. I've worked 1 double crochet after the cable and I have 4 stitches in which to work the 2 decreases. So that's the 1 decrease and the next one. Then moving on to round 16, it's chain 1 and turn, work single crochets all across. Moving on to round 17, it's chain 3 and turn. Here I'll follow the pattern with the working 2 double crochets, the cable, 3 double crochets, the cable, ending with 3 double crochets. Moving on to round 18, it's chain 1 and turn. Here I'll single crochet all across. I've completed round 19 to round 28 by repeating round 17 and round 18. At this point, we'll mark out the neckline, count 10 stitches from the end, place a stitch marker into the 11th stitch. Moving on to round 29, it's chain 1 and turn. I'll now single crochet to the stitch marker. After the stitch marker, work 3 double crochets following the pattern to the end where I'll work 3 double crochets. Round 30, it's chain 1 and turn. Here I'll single crochet all across. I've completed rounds 31 to round 34 by repeating round 29 and round 30. During each of those rounds, I replaced the stitch marker. So it's fasten off and cut off the excess yarn. That completes the front right panel, set aside for later use. Moving on to the sleeve, the ribbing for the sleeve. I've chained 9, round 1, single crocheted into all the stitches, round 2, chained 1, single crocheted into all the stitches, working into the back loops only, and then I repeated round 2 27 more times to complete the ribbing for the sleeve. You'll notice again I'm at the bottom of the ribbing and I need to be at the top of the ribbing. The tail end needs to be at the bottom. So to get to the top, I need to slip stitch across. I'm now at the right side of the ribbing with the tail end of the yarn at the bottom. So then it's chain 1, and here I'll single crochet all across the ribbing, making sure that I have 29 stitches across. I've completed round 1 of the sleeve. Moving on to round 2, it's chain 3 and turn. Here I'll work double crochets all across. I've completed round 2 of the sleeve. At this point, change the hook to a 5mm hook. Then it's chain 3 and turn. I'll now continue working double crochets and the cable pattern. The pattern is the same as it was for the front and back body panel, with the exception that I've began working 3 double crochets after the chain 3, and then it was the cable and 3 double crochets in between the cables. I ended with 4 double crochets, whereas with the front and back body panels, after the chain 3 I worked 2 double crochets and I ended with 3 double crochets. I've now completed round 4, working single crochets all across. Moving on to round 5, it's chain 3 and turn. This is an increase round, so I'll work an increase into the first stitch and an increase into the last stitch. To work an increase, it's work 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. I've continued with 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches, the cable, 3 double crochets, the cable, 3 double crochets, the cable, 2 double crochets, and another. So that's 3 double crochets, and into the last stitch I'll work an increase, which is 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. So at the end I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets, and at the beginning I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and the chain 3, so it's 5 double crochets. Round 6, chain 1 and turn. Here I'll single crochet all across. Moving on to round 7, it's chain 3 and turn. Here I'll follow the pattern, working cables with 3 double crochets in between. Just at the start and at the end I'll work as many double crochets as there are. I've completed round 7 to round 42 by repeating round 5 and round 6. Note, however, that I only increased in the following rounds: round 9, round 13, round 17, round 21, and round 41. I completed rounds 43 and round 44. For round 43, I worked 3 decreases at the start, followed by 2 double crochets and the cable. Continued with the pattern. After the last cable, I worked 2 double crochets and 3 decreases. Then I chained 1, turned, and single crocheted all across for round 44. I've completed round 45 and round 46. For round 45, I worked 2 decreases at the start. I then worked the cable following the pattern to the last cable. After the last cable, I worked 2 decreases, chained 1, turned, and single crocheted all across for round 46. I have completed round 47 and round 48. For round 47, after chaining 3, I worked 1 decrease. I skipped a stitch and worked 2 front post triple crochets, went back to the skip stitch and worked a front post triple crochet, moved ahead working a front post triple crochet followed by 3 double crochets. I then continued the pattern. I couldn't complete the last front post triple crochet as I needed the stitch for the decrease. Into the last 2 stitches I worked a decrease. Then I chained 1, turned, and worked single crochets all across for round 48. I've completed rounds 49 and round 50. For round 49 I chained 3, I skipped a stitch, and I worked the 2 front post triple crochets, going back to the skip stitch to work a front post triple crochet, moving ahead to work a front post triple crochet. I continued with the pattern. At the end, again, I worked the front post triple crochet, skipped a stitch, working 2 front post triple crochets, going back to the skip stitch to work that front post triple crochet, and then I double crocheted into the chain 3, the turning chain of the previous round. I then chained 1, turned, single crocheted all across for round 50. I've completed round 51 and round 52. For round 51, I chained 3, turned, I worked a decrease followed by a front post triple crochet, 3 double crochets. Following the pattern, at the end I worked a front post triple crochet followed by 1 decrease and 1 double crochet. I then chained 1 and turned, single crocheted all across for round 52. I've completed round 53 and round 54. For round 53, I chained 3, worked a front post triple crochet followed by 3 double crochets. I continued the pattern to the end, working a front post triple crochet and a double crochet. I then chained 1, turned, and single crocheted all across for round 54. I've completed round 55 and round 56. For round 55, I chained 3, worked 2 decreases followed by the cable pattern. Then it was 2 decreases and a double crochet. I then chained 1, turned, and single crocheted all across for round 56. I've completed round 57 and round 58. For round 57, I chained 3, turned, and worked a decrease. I then worked the cable followed by another decrease and a double crochet. Round 58, I chained 1, turned, and single crocheted all across. That brings us to the end of the sleeve. You can fasten off and cut off the excess yarn. Repeat for the next sleeve. For the construction of the jacket, place the front panel over the back panel with the right sides facing in. The sides of both the front and back panel should line up. So I'll sew together the side of the back and front panel, and the shoulder seams need to be sewn up as well, up until the stitch markers. Do the same for the sleeve, seaming the 2 ends together. Remember, work on the wrong side. To attach the sleeve to the body, I've marked off the shoulder seam with a stitch marker as a guide. I've also done the same on the sleeve, marking off the center of the sleeve with a stitch marker. I can use this as a guide to align the 2 together when I'm attaching the sleeve to the body. I've placed the body panel right side facing in, and working with the sleeve on the right side, I'll place the sleeve into the body panel. Align the side seams and the shoulder stitch marker to the stitch marker on the sleeve panel. We'll now stitch the sleeve and the body panel together all around. Continue to the other end of the sleeve. I've completed attaching the sleeve to the body. I've turned it to the right side. To complete the front opening of the jacket, I attached yarn to the bottom of the jacket and I chained one. I single crocheted all across. At the end, I chained one, turned and single crocheted back down. I completed 4 rounds of single crochet. I then marked off 4 points where I'd like the buttonholes to be. So to work the buttonholes, I'll single crochet to the stitch marker. Depending on the size of the buttonhole, if it's a big button like the one that I've got, I'll skip 3 stitches and I'll also chain 3. So here it's 1, 2, 3. I'll skip those 3 stitches and I'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th stitch I'll single crochet. So that creates a little hole for the button. Single crochet to the next stitch marker. Again, I'll skip the 3 stitches, chain 3, and I'll work a single crochet into the 4th stitch. So that's chain 3, 1, 2, 3 stitches, and into the 4th, a single crochet. Repeat this at the remaining 2 stitch markers. I've worked 3 more rounds of single crochets, making sure to work single crochets into the chains as well. So that completes the front edge. For the front left opening edge, I attached yarn and worked 8 rounds of single crochet. I then sewed on the buttons, making sure that they lined up with the buttonholes. I then attached yarn to the neckline. I worked 2 rounds of single crochet around the neckline, and to complete the jacket, I weaved in all the ends.